Character details. Kujo Sara. Character details. The blood of the Tengu runs through Kujo Sara's veins, but she does not dwell in the forests and mountains as they do. She was fostered from a young age by the Kujo clan and has served since then as part of the Tenryou Commission. The Tenryou Commission is one arm of the Tri-Commission and is in charge of the security of Inazuma. Today, Sara is a general of the Tenryou Commission, and hers is the vital task of maintaining order within Inazuma City itself. She governs well and is ever determined to set a good example for her subordinates. No matter how tough the issue, if it falls under the Tenryou Commission's jurisdiction, Sara can solve it in good time. Sara smiles little and is swift and resolute in the pursuit of her missions, and so many Inazumans consider her as inaccessible, stone-cold military personnel. However, such an assessment might be too surface level for someone like Sara, who seems cool on the outside but burns within. Character Story 1. In Inazuma, the Vision Hunt Decree is a manifestation of the Raiden Shogun's will to pursue eternity, and Sara is the main enforcer of that decree. Sara believes that visions, in the hands of those with incorrectly aligned minds, will destabilize the foundations of Inazuma, thus necessitating the Vision Hunt Decree. However, this does not mean that Sara will stoop to any means necessary to enforce it. When citizens are inevitably affected as the decree is carried out, she will expend the utmost patience and sincerity to attempt to explain the Almighty Shogun's long-term goals. She has also given clear orders forbidding the harming or exploiting of civilians during the pursuit of the decree, as such evil deeds will only drag the great name of the Archon through the mud. Unfortunately, the vast ideals of the Archon are too great for mortals to perceive, and resentment arises nonetheless, with some even uniting to resist those who enforce the decree. In such circumstances, where she has no choice but to take action, Sara often sighs helplessly before facing the enemy. The Shogun's army has Kujo Sara's leadership to thank, in large part for the fearlessness and unity of its soldiery. Surveying the battle lines, setting up training plans, selecting weapons and armor. Unlike many generals who prefer to strategize and plan from the rear, Sara prefers to do such things herself. Sara is very harsh on herself during training, with her personal regiment being over 10 times tougher than which the ordinary troops go through. Even when night has fallen and the world has gone to sleep, one can still hear the sounds of her bow being drawn, echoing through the dojo. On the battlefield, she has always been at the tip of the spear, leading the troops with absolute heroism and awe-inspiring fighting spirit. When the dust has settled, she will also personally see to the wounded and give reward and mete out any punishment based on merit. Every step of the battle that passes through her hands is managed well, with missteps being very few and far between. Sara's troops are all witnesses to her words and deeds. Sara's troops are all witnesses to her words and deeds. No one who has fought alongside her does not hold her in the highest regard. The general is the soul of the army, and fine generals are hard to find. Small wonder, then, that Sara has always been the pride of the Shogun's army. Even when she is not training, Sara brings her austere, strict nature into her daily life. Her life seems to follow some sort of eternal, unchanging rule. She wakes up on the dot, trains on the dot, eats a fixed amount, from things as large as training regiments to things as small as food consumption. Sara has her own perspective and pursues her self-created standards to the last letter. Miscellaneous objects are to be sorted by category, and furnishings are to be arrayed in straight lines. There is to neither be dirt in any corner nor on the ground. These are the standards Sara holds her dwelling up to. She views excellence in such matters to also be a part of her training, and handles them herself, not requiring the aid of any servants. That said, how could her servants ever just stand idly by? Every time they meet Sara, they will implore her to put the cleaning cloth down and leave the matter to them. Having repeatedly declined their offers to no avail, Sara eventually took cleaning up behind closed doors, posting up the sign outside her room, "Training in progress. Do not disturb." Although she has grown up amongst humans, Sara still maintains the various habits of the Tengu. When she leaves the Tenryou Commission headquarters on occasion, it is mostly to go to the mountains. She knows them like the back of her hand, and has witnessed many strange creatures not often told in human tales. Among them are many fierce and evil things, but there are also little creatures that mean no harm. To Sara, however, these are just differences in form. There was a time when a sizable spate of thefts was reported to the police station in quick succession, and they could not find the culprit. Walking through the woods on higher alert than usual, Sara quickly espied the Bake Denuki running along hurriedly while carrying their plunder. Of course, Bake Denuki are not evil by nature, but only steal food out of gluttony. Capturing the creatures, Sara had only this to say as she reclaimed their ill-gotten gains. "Hiding in the mountains will not let you escape judgment. Listen closely, for this is your final warning. Do not make yourself a nuisance to civilians again, or else." The Bake Denuki were chilled to the bone, nodding as they balled up in a corner. After this, they would keep to that agreement, and did not again do such ill. As for the sharp-tongued Sara, she would bring various melons and fruits that could keep for a longer period up to the mountains while training there, making sure to deposit them in the Bake Denuki's dwelling whenever she passes through. She did not explain herself, and in any case did not consider this any sort of gift. If she had to describe it, then perhaps a sort of consolation to those who had turned from an unrighteous path might be the best description for such things. Sara has been training with the Shogun's army ever since she was taken in by the Tenryou Commission. The soldiers actually thought that she was a boy at first, due to her coming to train at an early age, and they took care of her very well. Having been a little frightened of crowds at first, Sara became much more outgoing due to this warm reception, and would even play games with the other troops. However, the soldiers she played alongside were severely punished by the clan head, while she was merely given a cold chastening. "Not following military law and neglecting your training? I did not take you in just to have you do such pointless things." Since then, Sara would be conscientious in maintaining a certain distance from others. Rather than blending in with the crowd, she sought first to attain surpassing martial prowess, bearing in mind at all times she would someday take command. The Raiden Shogun's helper, an example to the Tenryou Commission, the pride of the clan head. None of these three identities put her first in any way, but to Sara, this was her. She was a warrior whose being was calm and austerity. No one ever told her that she should give herself more consideration, and Sara did not necessarily lack such concerns either. Her chains as an adopted child and the solitude of a non-human had always accompanied her mission and status. But to stop due to such obstacles is the dilemma of the weak, and being Kujo's Sara, her path would not end here. She would be the Electro Archon's staunchest adherent and most clear-headed of her generals. Statue of Her Excellency, the Almighty Narukami Ogosho, God of Thunder. Out of their worship and love for the Raiden Shogun, Many merchants have created and sold artwork related to her. The most popular product among them is the statue of Her Excellency, the Almighty Narukami Ogosho, God of Thunder, a lacquerware doll made using the deity's image as its template. Sara rose early the day it went on the market, easily becoming first in queue to purchase the statue. This became something of a hot topic for a while. Sara would make no retort concerning any such stories. From her perspective, she bought the item with poised respect in her heart. In all matters related to the shogun, she had never once committed a perfunctory or negligent act. Indeed, she went forth personally to select and purchase a statue, and even personally prepared a shrine within which it might be kept upon her return. She placed 5 such statues in specially placed display cases, and would clean them whenever she returned home. If she could not be there, she would arrange for artisans to perform the maintenance instead. To someone like Sara, who lacks friends and who is too busy to have much of a private life, the Raiden Shogun is not merely a deity, but also a form of repose. The Shogun is her will, her future, her strength, even the harbinger of her fate. The confluence of all that is noble. Sara's adherence is one born out of recognition and trust. The intricately made Archon statue makes Sara feel like the almighty Shogun is not far off in her Tenchukaku, but is a wisdom, an ideal, a strength of heart that supports her every step of the way. These moments of tranquility bring her indescribable enjoyment. Vision. When she obtained her vision, she had not yet been given a name or surname. She originally lived in a quiet mountain forest that had, from a time unknown, become plagued by great evils that robbed it of its former peace. Though she had the strength of the Tengu, she was still young, and could not stand against the monsters alone, and was hurled from a cliff during the battle, her wings having been damaged prior. Plummeting from the heights and unable to unfurl her injured wings, she seemed fated to fall at her death. No, it can't end like this. I always believed that I could protect this place forever with my strength. When day dawned the next day, some passers-by discovered an unconscious girl by the roadside. She looked a little worse for wear, but seemed otherwise unharmed. Adding to the mystery of how she ended up here. Astonished, the people brought her back to the city and reported the matter to the Tenryou Commission immediately. That was when the Kujo clan head, Kujo Takayuki, noticed that the glowing item in her hand was a vision, a thing that many desired, but few ever gained. Realizing that she, this child, had gained the attention of an Archon even at her young age, Takayuki believed that she was a destined child, sent to the Tenryou Commissions by the heavens. Taking her in, he named her Sara, and would train her to become an all-round warrior, asking that she serve the shogun and fight for Inazuma. Kujo Takayuki believed that in raising such an excellent general, the status and future of the Kujo clan would become more secure, and indeed, all that he had hoped would steadily come to pass. Sara, armed with her vision, would swiftly distinguish herself, rising through the ranks to become a general of the Tenryou Commission at a young age, just as many had hoped. Yet it was precisely because she possessed a vision that Sara knew this better than anyone. Her surviving that fall unscathed was due to the Archon looking upon her with favor in that instant. In but a single glance, she had been given the power that sustained her life. Everything she had, therefore, could be described as existing by the almighty Shogun's grace, fighting for the Shogun. Sara believed that this was neither her duty nor a result of her foster father's schemes, but was instead her truest calling. The Tengu race has never lacked for exceptional talents who have received an electrovision. It's just that they often habitually chant praises to the Electro Archon while manipulating Electro. The chants go something like this: "Show forth your might, O praiseworthy Narukami, and grant this supplicant your thunderous might, Sawaka." Sara departed from her people, the Tengu, and also temporarily lost her faith in the Tenryou Commission. But once the clouds over her heart cleared, she found her own lightning anew.
To manifest eternity per the Almighty Shogun's will. That is what I aspire to. The sound of rain masks the enemy's footsteps. Stay alert. Listen. Thunder speaks the will of the Almighty Shogun. I would like to catch a snowflake, but once you have them in the palm of your hand, they melt away all the more quickly. I am grateful to Takayuki. The Tenryou Commission is all I've ever had to rely on, and I will do everything within my power to defend my family's honor. You want to know about the Tenryou Commission's code of conduct? Loyalty to the Raiden Shogun, of course. That is also my life's creed. Am I ready to depart? Let me put it to you like this. If you were to make a habit of asking me this question every time before you move out, you would find that you only receive an answer from me 1 time out of 10. The other 9 times, I would already be fighting fiercely on the front line. Not because I'm foolhardy, nor because I lack courtesy, but because the battle never waits till you are ready. My aspirations? I thought you already knew. To assist the Almighty Shogun in manifesting eternity. That is what I aspire to. Personal aspirations. It's, not something I've ever thought about before. Though you present an unstable factor in the Almighty Shogun's eternity, unstable does not have to mean a threat. So I am not your enemy. But I will be watching you at all times. When I confiscated people's visions, I trampled on their ambitions. Now that the Vision Hunt Decree has been repealed, I must atone for my actions. I am led to believe that you can hear those ambitions. The ones echoing within the visions embedded on the statue of the omnipresent God. I'd like you to tell me more about them. Also, your own ambitions. I would like to hear about those as well. Only if the gods cast their gaze upon you will you receive a vision. Since my own vision was granted by the Almighty Shogun, I shall return it to her in the end, without hesitation, and with no regrets. During a previous assignment, a vendor in Hanamizaka gifted me a kind of spinning top, called the Solo. It's a toy that you can play with when you're by yourself. I was quite taken with it, so I kept it. You want to play with it together? But that would defy the principle on which the Solo is based. Respectfully, I must decline.
Oh my gosh.
Whenever something is bothering me inside, I stand beneath the sacred sakura, close my eyes, and try to calm my mind. When I open my eyes again, the falling blossoms will guide my path. As I'm sure you've heard many times before, the Almighty Shogun seeks eternity, an existence beyond the dominion of thought and longing. Abandon mortal ties, strive for an unchanging eternity. The Almighty Shogun's manner is always resolute, and I do not always fully grasp the meaning of her words. But this is her decision, and I trust her. So the Vision Hunt Decree was repealed. Yes, it seems that you were right. But this is not to say that the Almighty Shogun made a mistake. She has simply chosen to pursue eternity by a different route. I do not know whether the Shogun has finally found inner peace after protecting Inazuma over all these millennia. All I know is that however perilous the road ahead may become, I will follow her, as I have always done. As long as she is not setting off fireworks in my camp, I will cause her no trouble. Yes, I know. All else aside, her fireworks are spectacular and brilliant, and she deserves all the praise she gets. The issue for me is that fireworks are fleeting in nature. After one brief moment of dazzling light, all that remains is the pitch-black night sky, the same as before. So I often have to caution myself not to become too captivated by this illusory spectacle. It is transient, but Inazuma is eternal, and my mission is to protect Inazuma. In the Kujo household, normally the only sound to be heard is that of soldiers training in the dojo. But in the Kamisato household, there's the sound of music, dance, bickering, and laughter. I have heard that Miss Kamisato is skilled in the game of Go, and I've always hoped for an occasion to pay her a visit. But I also worry that someone of a serious demeanor like myself may not quite fit in there. Guji-Ai's actions often leave me with many questions. Nevertheless, the fact that she is the head shrine maiden of the Grand Narukami Shrine clearly shows the level of trust and approval that the Shogun places in her, and for this reason, I also greatly respect her. But if there ever comes a day when she disobeys the Shogun's will, then please accept my apologies in advance. She is more proficient as a military strategist than a priestess. The way she uses directives to wage war is almost unheard of. I wonder if I should adopt this technique for commanding the Shogun's army. But this could lead us to a situation whereby war is waged at the negotiation table, each side with their pack of strategy cards, playing them one by one until a victor emerges. Then again, perhaps not. You want to know more about me? No, what exactly? I can't discuss Tenryo Commission business with you. That's strictly confidential. And I certainly can't divulge anything relating to the almighty Shogun. What exactly are you trying to achieve, Me on a personal level? I suppose that's not out of the question, just unprecedented. I lead a relatively simple life when I'm not leading an army into battle. I always get out of bed at 5:05, on the dot. Then I go to the courtyard, where I take 5 deep breaths before walking 5 laps around it. For breakfast, I typically eat 5 mouthfuls. 5 is my lucky number, so I do things in 5s. Oh, do you have some objection to that?
No, ma'am.
The thing that gave me the most trouble when enforcing the Vision Hunt decree was those officers of the Shogun's army who would abuse their authority to be heavy-handed with those we detained. The will of the almighty Shogun must be executed, but I do not condone violence against innocent people. I have expressly forbidden such behavior on countless occasions, but judging by the outcome, it seems difficult to root out. If you have any ideas on how to tackle it, please share them with me. Although I was fully adopted by the Kujo clan, I know that Takayuki does not look at me the same way he looks at Kamaji. I might be a little stone-faced sometimes, but even I get lonely. Especially when I catch sight of one of my subordinates sharing an intimate moment with their family. I'm sorry, I have nothing but gratitude for Takayuki. How could I be so disrespectful? Now that I think about it, you and I are a good example of achieving concord through conflict. We were on opposite sides. Diametrically opposed, you could say. I never imagined I would end up alongside you, either in battle or in long conversation. Fate has been kind to me. No, sorry. Ignore that. The existence of a Tengu warrior's wings is an objective fact, as is the reality that they will take up a certain amount of space when standing side by side. So when you say, "Come closer," I fail to see how exactly I am supposed to achieve that. My bow sounds in peak condition. One shot is all I need. Power duly assimilated, ready to receive instruction. The Shogun's army might as well just be me.
Bruh.
The responsibility for honing my strength and advancing my martial abilities lies with me. And yet you have so diligently and willingly helped me. I will become worthy of this power by harnessing it for a higher cause. Also, the favor of the Tengu will always be with you.
For the sake of the Kujo clan's future.